Welcome to My Daily Thread. It's a great little place to get a snippet of wisdom from the yoga and the meditation masters to start or to end your day. I'm Jeff Lichty. All right, my friends, welcome back to the show. I'm so happy that you joined me. My Daily Thread, looking for a snippet of wisdom from Patanjali. We have been working in the yamas and the niyamas, and specifically Ahimsa. That was where we got to in our last episode. And that episode, we talked about Sutra 235. So that's chapter 2, verse 35. Ahimsa, pratiṣṭhāyām, tat-sannidhau, vaira-tyāgaḥ. When one is firmly established in nonviolence, hostility ceases in their presence. And speaking of presence, yours is required. Zig and I are looking forward to hosting you February 2025 in San Pancho. January 31st to February 7th is a beautiful exclusive beach house resort. February 9th to 13th, specific Mysore week with me. And then again, February 15th to 19th, Casa Ziggy Andrea's home base with a beautiful open-air rooftop palapa where we'll practice yoga, we'll look at the principles, and we will enjoy the sun, the sunsets, and we will set ourselves up for the rest of 2026. I'll drop a link in the show notes, and you'll find all the information you need on jefflichty.com or ziggymoves.com. And now back to Ahimsa, pratiṣṭhāyām. In our last episode, we took a couple examples. We talked about Mahatma Gandhi. We talked about the Dalai Lama. We talked about Fred Rogers or Mr. Rogers. I like you just the way you are. And we talked about Thich Nhat Hanh. And I realized when I was listening to this that, wow, that's a lot of men. And so I kind of thought, wow, all right, what about our modern matriarchs? That was my question. So I thought I'd share those with you today. Mother Teresa, I already spoke about her, and I realized I'm calling her Mother Teresa because that's when I met her. She was Mother Teresa, but now it's Saint Teresa of Calcutta. And, you know, she was a bright light for me, and she, you know, was gentle but powerful, and she walked into war zones and calmed people in violent slums. She just had an unwavering presence of love and light, and I know because I felt that peace really deeply inside. And here's a good quote from her. She says, "If we have no peace, it is because we have forgotten that we belong to each other." Woo! That's it, isn't it? Think about the yamas. How do we relate to others? Ahimsa helps us relate to others. But I was curious to add to this list of women, and Maya Angelou came up. She's a poet, she's an author, she's an activist. You know who she is, and she is a powerful presence in the world of film. And she was known to have this regal calm. She embodied dignity and wisdom and grace. And here's a quote from her. She says, "Hate, it has caused a lot of problems in the world, but has not yet solved one." Maya Angelou, another wonderful example. Let's move on. Ruth Bader Ginsburg. Now, there's a great Netflix movie out that chronicles her life. Highly recommend it. Really wonderful show. But she tirelessly fought for gender equality with intellectual clarity and respectfulness. And she wasn't confrontational. She had poise. If you remember the show, Justice Scalia, they had big differences, but she still treated him with respect. She wasn't hostile, and she had presence. And so here's a quote from her. It says, "Reacting in anger or annoyance will not advance one's ability to persuade." Ruth Bader Ginsburg. Let's go back to Patanjali. Ahimsa, pratiṣṭhāyām, established, firmly established. And around these people, there's calm, there's poise, there's no confrontation. Two more examples. Pema Chodron is an American Buddhist nun, and she wrote a really great book, which I really feel like rereading now. It's called When Things Fall Apart. She was a school teacher and then became a Buddhist nun, and she teaches a gentle, radical acceptance of pain and discomfort. She has created in her life this inner stillness and peace. This is the cultivation of a practice. Here's her quote: "You are the sky Everything else is just the weather. Ooh, that is brilliant, isn't it? Ahimsa pratiṣṭhāyām. See, her practice brought her to that. It's not the practice of ahimsa necessarily. It's the practice that leads to this non-confrontational, non-hostile attitude. You see, they speak without aggression. They transform with their presence. So I'm going to leave it at that today. Let's let these women be our guide. These women who were unshakable with compassion, with presence. They had clarity in that compassion and presence. They were able to disarm hostility. They are able to inspire peace, not just by what they say, and probably even less with what they say and more with the presence of who they are. So let's rewind back to yesterday's episode. What is your default setting? Can you cultivate a practice of nonviolence? Can you let it be less in the words and more in your presence? Okay, and tomorrow we're going to move on. Om. Peace out.